Hi guys! I recorded this class during lockdown round 1 at the time when the world very much felt like it was going through a collective shift. The BLM movement was rightly thriving, we were fully into the pandemic, and emotions were really high. It felt like a very necessary class to teach at the time, and I wanted to bring it back now and make it public. So just bear in mind that the audio will be slightly different, and there are a few references made about the time we were in, but the heart of the practice is still relevant. If you want some music for your practice, the link as always is in the description below. So take it easy and enjoy.
Hi everybody, thank you for coming this evening or whenever you're doing this yin class with me today. I hope you're all well, and I know that there is a lot going on. There's always a lot going on, but right now I really want to focus this class on opening up, steadying ourselves, finding a focus, opening up our ears, our eyes, our hearts, our bellies, our gut instinct for a bit of change. Allow yourself to be changed, allow yourself to be adaptable in all sorts of situations. And I find that Yin Yoga is a wonderful practice for us to dive into that. As we dive into slightly uncomfortable places, or as we dive into the unknown, and how can we open ourselves up to less defensiveness, less aversion. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say before we get going. I hope you have a nice class, and I want you to allow anything to come up that needs to come up. And that's it. For this class tonight, set myself up with my make-do bolster situation right here. So if you have a bolster, excellent job. Grab that, otherwise use 2 pillows. And underneath my 2 pillows, I've got a bunch of books, I've got a couple of yoga bricks, so if you can just get something that's going to prop yourself up. And we're going to, like I have done for the last couple of weeks, be in this nice reclining lying down position. We're going to work a lot on the hamstrings this evening, so if you have a strap, a yoga strap, or a belt, or a dressing gown cord, then that's fabulous. Use any of those 3 things, and you may eventually find that you don't need the strap at some point, so that's all cool. So once you've kind of got all your things together, I'm going to start us off in this reclining lying down position for 5 minutes. So if you're going to get something now, then don't worry, you're not going to miss out on too much. If you're ready to go, then I want you to bring the soles of your feet together. Bring your bum to the very base of your pillows or your bolster. Let your knees open out to the side and lie your body back over the pillows or the bolster and kind of melt into them. And tonight I want you to open your arms out wide, turn the palms open towards the sky. Let the shoulders externally rotate outwards, the chest is open, the belly is abundant. If you're having any issues going on in your hips right now, I want you to lie your legs long instead. So come into a position that's really working for you, to really relax, to soften your eyelids, your forehead, your cheeks. Separate your teeth, relax the tongue, and take a big breath in through your nose. Big sigh out through the mouth. And again, inhale. Long exhale. One more big breath in. One more breath out. And if you're finding it difficult to quieten the mind, to ease the anxiety or the worry that you're feeling, try and focus only on your breath. Try and focus only on the movement of your breath in your body. Watch it. How on your inhale, you open the ribs, you expand. And on your exhale, fill the belly and melt a little bit more into the bolster or the pillows. Watch your body respond to your breath. This sacred breath. And as you're lying here, bring your arms up over your head and grab hold of your opposite elbows or your opposite forearms and bring the arms up over the head. Maybe in line with your ears, maybe a little bit further back, depends on how you feel and your mobility in your shoulders. And let this openness travel through the arms and the armpits, down the chest, across the chest and down the belly, all the way down to the pubic bones, to the floor, down to the tip of your toes. Slowly start to slide your hands down your forearms and open your arms out like a cactus to the side of you. Feel the weight of the arms drop down bit by bit. Take it real slow. Don't let the arms flop straight to the floor yet. Feel as though you're being held from either hand. Open the chest as you expand the arms out. Give yourself permission to sigh it out, to let go, to open the mouth as you exhale, to even release the tongue as you exhale. And then eventually when the hands finally reach the floor, maybe they don't, that's okay. Bring your arms down by your sides. Notice if you have this tingliness in your hands or in your fingers. Begin to move them if you do. And then wherever you are with your legs, I want you to bend your knees, squeeze your legs, your thighs together. Feel the ground beneath the soles of your feet. And you're very slowly going to lift the head, drop your chin to your chest, and peel your torso off the bolster or the pillows until you come up into a seat. Before we take it into our first proper posture of the evening, take a moment to come into a comfortable seat, and I want us to go into a mudra for a moment. So I wanted to do that first to settle our breath. And the mudra for the evening is called Hakini Mudra. And it's what I'm using for this week's dynamic vinyasa as well. So some people may know what I mean when I do this mudra. So you're going to bring the fingertips and the thumb tips to touch. Just the fingertips to touch. And you hold the hands out just in front of your heart or your solar plexus. And it's almost like you're holding an orange in between your hands. The palms are separated. It's just the fingertips that touch. Close the eyes. And this mudra, again, I want you to think about the openness that you have now in your hands. this willingness to receive information, experiences, the willingness to let go so that we can make more space to be more open. So if any of that kind of resonates with you at the moment, I want you to just think about it. What can we do? My teacher, Sienna Sherman, has a big focus on something called the shadow and shadow work that we almost do. And shadow work is basically like our defense mechanism. That what happens when we are kind of faced up with things that we are really, really frightened of and exposed, when we feel defensive, when we feel like we have to build a wall, we need to face up to that shadow, to own up to it, to take accountability for that. It's a personal practice that will have an amazing knock-on effect to our relationships, to the whole of our lives. Every day, our shadow is there, and we have the choice of what to do with it. With the fingertips together, there's this moment of consciousness that we are connected. Take a moment as you sit here to savor this moment. This moment where you can choose how you go. Release the fingertips. And we're going to come into a nice open side stretch. We've done this a few times. So with this position, I want you to take your bolster or your pillows over to your right. I might be your left right now, but take your pillows and your bolster over to the right. Now you don't need all of your books and you don't need all of your bricks, you just need one. So grab one brick, bring it out with you. If you want to sit onto anything to lift your sit bones so that you don't collapse through the hips, then take a little seat onto something. And then I want you to send your right leg out to the right. And so the bolster and the pillows, or the pillows, go to the outside of the right leg. Then from there, you're going to take your little brick or your book or whatever you're using, and you're going to place it on top of the pillows or bolster. Take a moment, sit up as tall as you can. Take some big breaths in here, listen to the spine, listen to the length of the waist right now, and we're going to focus on the lumbar spine, on the QL muscle right now. So you're going to connect the left sit bone to the ground really firmly. It's like it's cemented to the floor, and you're going to start to tilt over to the right. And as you tilt to the right, you bring your right elbow down onto this said brick and rest your head into your right hand, or maybe just the fingertips, like in Hakini Mudra, just on the side of the head. And then you can relax this left arm. It may feel a little bit awkward for a time, but just relax it. Be sure to not collapse it forward and roll the shoulder in. You want to keep the chest pretty open as you tilt over to the right. And notice if you're going a little bit too far, as the left side, the left lumbar spine is going to really, well, the left side of your lumbar spine is going to tell you that. Ease into this. Notice what's going on. How is your breath this evening? Is it held up here in the chest? And like our shadow, we're trying to break down these walls. We're trying to break down these blocks in our body which restrict us, this tension, so that we find this flow of breath, of movement, of life. And you're very welcome to leave your left arm where it is. Here, I've just placed my left hand on my heart. Or you can interlace your fingers behind your head. Now, if adding this left arm behind the head is a little bit too intense, don't do it. It's okay. If you do want to take this, push the head into your hands and direct the left elbow and armpit up towards the sky. This is quite a deep place to go, so do not feel rushed, do not feel forced or pressured to take a position that doesn't work for you. You have your hands behind your head. Take a final breath in. Exhale, very slowly release the left hand from the head. Bring it down to where it was right at the beginning. And I want you to start to lift the head out of the right hand. Lift it up. And you'll really slowly, your exits from yin poses are very considered. You slowly lift the torso back up to a long, tall seat. You're going to start to turn and face the right leg head on. So again, both of your sit bones have stayed on the ground. And if you have your strap and you want to use the strap in this section, I'll show you what we can do with that. Option one, though, is you can bring the brick to the inside of your right leg and you start to hinge the torso forward. So what I want you to do is stay connected with the whole back of the body. Hinge the torso forward to the point that you feel, you know what? This is where I'm going to stay for now. You can place your hands onto your brick and your bolster. Chest forward, left sit bone down, long as if you're being pulled out through the crown of your head by a string. Now, if you want to take the strap, you'll wrap the strap around the right foot. And then you can wrap the strap around the left fist so that you have a really nice tight grip around it. And you can start to pull yourself forward here. Again, still hinging forward from the hips. And now some people are very flexible in this position and you're totally welcome to rest your head to your shin. You may even want to place the brick on top of the shin. Make sure it's not the knee, that it's on the shin, and maybe the forehead comes down to it. If you don't want to use your strap and your left hand can very comfortably reach for the right foot, then you can take that version as well. Up to you. I want us to notice in positions such as a forward fold, actually you get so much more out of the pose when you pull back a little bit. When you tell your ego to calm down, getting your head to touch your foot is not going to make you a better person. Pull back, listen to your body, and you keep this beautiful shape that your upper body and your lower body are working together. Your mind and your breath and your body is in this conjunction together. It's stirring around to make a really, really wonderful outcome. Take one more breath where you are here. And one more breath out. This next breath is going to start to exit you from the pose. So start to walk your hands back up your right shin or just pull the torso back up. As soon as you get to the top, then you can start to untwist from this pose. And that's quite nice to take the counter twist. So you can continue to twist to the left. You can rest the hands down onto the floor. Ooh, take a minute. This one always gets me. And then when you're ready, shift it over to the other side. Extend your left leg, bend your right knee. Move your bolsters, your pillows, everything over to the other side. Set yourself up. Take a moment before you go over to the side to sit still. So notice the difference in the sides of your body. And through this practice, I truly believe that you get to know yourself a little bit better. On a physiological level, on an emotional level. And then begin to send your left elbow onto said brick or book. Keep your right hip cemented towards the floor, so the right sit bone down. Drop your head into the left hand. Keep the chest open. Ease into this with your breath. And let it carry you into the pose. You're welcome to stay where you are, or interlace your fingers behind your head. Bring your right hand behind the head, shine the right armpit and elbow up to the sky. Are you still able to breathe down into your belly if you do this? If doing this alters your breathing to the point that you can't get it down to the gut, then maybe we've gone a little bit too far. This is when our ego shows up, and tries to tell us that we can do more, that we can push. And you say, my breath is the most important thing right now because my breath is going to carry me through. Take one more breath in where you are. Exhale, release the hands from the head. Lift the head from the left hand. Real slowly lift the torso back up. Have a moment here at the top. Hold space for yourself to feel, to experience the sensation. And then start to twist to the left. Turn the upper body towards the left leg. And you can move your brick, you can grab your strap. You don't have to take a strap, completely up to you. And you're going to start to reach towards the left foot with your right hand. Tilt forward. And it's like really what you're trying to do is kind of resist. You're trying to resist this, you're trying to resist gravity. But at the same time, you're humbly getting into it. You're just taking a sweet time. You will not be rushed. Take about 3 more breaths where you are here. And one more, inhale. Exhale, start to walk your hands back up your left leg until you reach the top, and then you can gently untwist from the pose, and you can continue to take the counter twist to the right. How does the sides of the body feel? How do the hips feel? And we're going to spend most of the next part of the class on lying down. So you don't need your books, you don't need your pillows or your bolster. You may just need your strap. So I'm going to wrap myself around a little bit. And I'm going to put my head towards this end of the mat. You go wherever you need to go. One little pointer I will say is that actually you probably want to bring your bolster or your pillows perhaps to the right side of your mat. So you probably will at some point, and that might be a bit distracting there, when we open up the leg, rest the right leg onto this bolster or pillow situation right now. I'll bring mine back into it when I'm ready for it. So first of all, you lie flat down onto your back. Take a moment, lie down, be still. Feel the lumbar spine press into the ground, and there'll be a little bit of an arch in your spine. It's the natural curve of your spine. And as you lie here, I want you to squeeze your right leg in towards your chest. Interlace your fingers if you can around your right shin. Now your left leg can be long, or you can always bend the left knee and plant the foot to the floor. Whatever makes you happier. So when you're in this position, start to gently rock your right leg from side to side. And when you're in this position, and for the next few positions that we're going to go into, I want you to try and be strict with your shoulders. Try and keep your shoulders grounded, the back of the head rooted into the floor, long in your spine, so that we don't end up in disjointed poses. Now I'm going to offer a few different variations. Those of you that do not need a strap and you're feeling very happy in your hamstrings, you may want to take your right peace fingers and hook them around your right big toe. Now, no matter who you are, I do want you to still keep a little bend in your right knee and flex the right foot for sure. And this is about you trying to root the thigh bone into your right hip socket. Keep your right shoulder back, and you can be here. Those of you that want to use a strap, and I highly recommend it, is you wrap the strap around your right foot. You can wrap your right fist around the strap, and you can start to even walk the hand a little bit further up towards the foot, the further that you go in this position, up to you. And again, it's the same deal. You're trying to root the thigh bone into the hip socket and ground it into the floor. Keep your right shoulder down. And you're welcome to move a little bit here, definitely. You're welcome to also bend the right knee and extend the leg, kind of have a moment to play around with that a little bit. Over time, you might want to ditch the strap and go for the toe bind. Or you can always just grab hold of the ankle and calf, up to you. And when you're in this position, are you able to kind of play around with the toes a little bit? Can you spread the toes out wide? Give a little wiggle. Draw the toes more towards your face if you can. Really open up the back of the calf. Take it into one more breath. And one more big exhale. And we're going to send the right leg over to the right. Now, the most important part of this pose is that you keep your left hip grounded. So you don't want your left butt cheek to sneakily lift up. So you send your right leg wide out to the right. Keep hold of the big toe if you can, otherwise you hold the strap. And now this is where you might want to get your bolsters or your pillows if they're by your side. And rest the right foot or the right calf upon the bolster or the pillows, up to you. Left hip stays grounded. Breathe into the belly, and breathe it out. So we want to work into the adductors, massive muscle group, the adductors, your inner thighs. I want you to imagine that someone's got hold of your left foot and someone else has got hold of your right foot. And they're trying to really kind of pull them in opposite directions. So your legs feel like they're getting longer. And you can take your left arm out wide and pretty much you'd end up looking like a starfish. Take up some serious space. If you have it, use it. And if we had sandbags, which are great yoga props, I would put the sandbag on this left hip to keep that, a bit of weight on it is really nice when you feel like a weighted practice. So I would have this imaginary sandbag on your left hip. So you feel like someone's kind of sitting on your hip, not letting it come up. And maybe you begin to feel a little bit of a tremble in your muscles, and that's a good thing. That's a muscle release. And then really slowly, I want you to start to bring your right leg back up to the top. Control. Either through the toe bind or with the strap. And then you're going to pass your left foot you'll pass your right foot over to your left hand. And if you're going to take this, I would actually hold on to the outer edge of the foot with the left hand. Or you pass the strap to the left hand. So I'll just demo with the foot. If you're going to go for the foot, you start to send your right leg over to the left side of the room. You keep your right shoulder on the ground. And you can always transfer this pillow and bolster over to the left side of the room and place the leg on top of that there. If you're going with the strap, it's the same deal, just with the strap. What can be quite a nice little hack is when you're holding the strap with your left hand, bend your elbow. And as you send your right leg over to the left side of the room, use the back of your left arm against the ground to kind of prop it up if you don't have the equipment. So your choice what you take. With or without your bolster or pillows, completely up to you. But you're going to be here for a couple of minutes. And what's quite nice about this pose is that now we start to get into the IT band. And begin to work into some thoracic rotation and movement. Your right arm can go out wide to the side, keep the right shoulder down. I would then put your imaginary sandbag on your right shoulder. Keep the feet flexed if you can, especially the right foot. Spread the toes. What can you feel if you activate the feet? And there's so much, so many layers of muscles in the soles of the feet. I want you to imagine that someone is standing over you and they are holding this right hip, and you can actually physically do this on your own body. And they're trying to pull the right hip, and you can push the right hip away from your right rib cage. It's a very subtle movement, and it might not look like anything to the naked eye, but you should be able to feel the space between the rib and the hip expand just that little bit more. And you still want to sort of anchor the right shoulder blade to the ground at the same time. Because as we twist the body, it's not that we're trying to cut anything off or make ourselves smaller or shorter. When you twist, you're ringing, and you're actually trying to lengthen, find a bit more space. When you're twisting, you should be able to still breathe massively into your belly. And take about 3 more breaths where you are. Big breath in, try and push the right hip away from you. Exhale, ground the right shoulder into the floor, melt a little bit more into the ground. And again, breathe in. Breathe out. On this next breath, you can let go of your right foot with your left hand, or you can let go of the strap. Just gently, slowly bring your right leg back into center. Take a moment, lie your right leg long down the mat. You can leave the arms out wide. Just feel the sensation in the right hip, down the right leg. We are going to still work on this right leg though, but we're going to come up into a pigeon. So I want you to bring your knees in towards your chest. And you can start to rock from side to side, or if you honestly prefer to rock up and down the length of the spine, then you can rock up and down the length of your spine. And I'm going to give a couple of options for pigeon. So pigeon with your right leg. Option number 1, and you're probably going to want to have your bolsters, pillows with you. Right leg is forward. Left leg goes long down the mat. If you have a tendency to collapse onto the right hip and butt cheek, then wedge a brick or a book underneath. Because what we want to find here is a squareness in the hips. If my butt cheek drops to the floor, I've got this open hip. And I'm not really getting any stretch. So be honest with yourself. Do you need it? And it's okay if you do, for sure. Now, if you have your pillow, 1 or 2 of them, or your bolster, option number 1 is it can go out in front of you. And if you want to go down, it comes underneath your belly, and it's a really nice, comforting pose. You can always have your brick underneath your forehead as well, up to you. That might be somewhere you want to go, or the forehead can go straight to the floor. Option number 2. Is the bolster or the pillow is going to go underneath the right thigh. So essentially your right shin is going to try and go over the top of, to the other side of the bolster or pillow. So it gives you a little bit of height. Now this is often a little bit more intense. And then if you go further forward, if you go all the way down, you may want to bring a brick underneath your forehead. As I don't want you to have to curve the lower back to try and get the forehead down. Long in your spine. And if I'm being honest, I don't usually go all the way down personally. I guess only if I'm really, really tired. But I like to be a little bit more upright. And you can even use brick underneath your forearms. And it's a similar place to where I took you in that slight forward fold. There is benefit to pulling back, to pulling out of this full expression of the pose.
And there is space to move this as well. So if you are kind of feeling the urge to very gently rock, or whatever movement comes out of your body, you can go for it. And I'm going to offer one more add-on to this, and it's a side tilt. So you can absolutely stay where you are. If you are in the best place for yourself right now, then please stay there. Otherwise, you can walk your hands back slightly, and I want you to start to walk your hands over to the left diagonal corner of your mat. So you're actually walking away, your upper body away from your front leg. And you can be more upright, or you can lower your forearms to the ground. Up to you. So it's quite subtle shift. Long in your spine. Here we worked on the QL muscle. One minute here. I want you to come back into the thought of the day, this openness, this facing up to the discomfort, this showing up to the discomfort, to the stuff that we don't know yet. Start to walk your hands back to the center of the mat. Really good job. Take a moment. And now if you've got the brick underneath your right butt cheek, you can remove it. And then you can drop your right thigh down. And you can just kind of either swing your legs out in front of you if you have the bolster underneath your thigh. And then you can remove it. Roll onto your right butt cheek. Swing the legs out in front of you. And gently lie down into a rebound. Flat to the floor. Arms out wide. Legs out long. So we worked very much like a 360 degree there in the right leg. So take some time to feel into that. Stay lying down, we'll take everything to the other side. Start to move your fingers and your toes. Draw your left knee in towards your chest. Interlace your fingers around your left shin if you can. You can always bend your right knee if that's more comfortable for you, or just let it lie long down the mat. And then simply rock from side to side here. Keep your shoulders down, ground the back of the head, and begin to add a bit of movement here into the left hip.
And now you make your decision. Are you going to use your strap around the left leg? Or are you going to interlace your left peace fingers around your left big toe? Extend your left heel up towards the sky. Keep your left knee slightly bent, foot flexed big time, and root your left thigh bone, your femur bone, into your acetabular, which is your hip socket. And again, you can start to rock it slightly from side to side. You can bend the left knee more, re-straighten it. Remind the left shoulder to draw down and back. Can you play around with the toes a little bit here? Spread the toes, give them a little wiggle. Shine the heel bone towards the sky. And either with the peace fingers around the toes, or you can hold onto the strap instead. You're going to start to send your left leg out to the left. Take it real slow. Now remember your right hip. That's the most important thing. Keep the right hip grounded. Left leg goes out to the left. Use your bolsters, use your pillows. And then let your right arm extend out wide to the side. Take up some serious space here. You don't have to lock your left knee. Try not to. Keep it slightly bent. Kick through the heel. Imagine you've got one person at your left foot, one person at your right foot. And they're opening you up here. Long legs. Enjoying that moment of silence and stillness and space. Gently squeeze your left leg real slow back up to the top. And then you can pass the foot to your right hand or pass the strap to your right hand. Keep the left knee bent, foot flexed. And then you can begin to send your leg over to the right. If you prefer to send your bolsters and your pillows there first, then that's totally fine. Do what you need to do. And then send your left leg over towards the right side. Drop your head back, left shoulder down. Flex the left foot, spread the toes. When you're in this position again, I want you to think about pushing the left hip away from your left rib cage. So you're beginning to open up the space for your belly to breathe. It doesn't have to be immediate. Take your time. Find your pose. Establish the shape in your body. How does it feel compared to the other side? And begin to notice the feeling down the side of the left leg, the IT band. The sensation all the way down, maybe towards the toes and the sole of the foot. These lines in the body, these connected lines. How's the breath doing here? Can you open the belly up a little bit more as you breathe and try and send your left hip sort of almost like energetically away from your left rib cage? And take about 3 more breaths where you are. Final breath in through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Very slowly you can let go of your legs. Bring your left leg back into center. First of all, lie both the legs flat, long down the mat. Feel the weight of the left leg. Bring your knees back in towards your chest, very slowly. Rock either side to side or up and down, completely up to you how you want to get there. We come into our pigeon on the other side. So have a play around with the 2 different versions that I gave you last time. You want to bring a pillow or your bolster with you. And then just make sure that you are keeping your hips nice and square. So if you need to have your brick underneath your left butt cheek, then go and grab it. So remember, your left shin can either be behind the pillow or in front of the pillow. Depends on what you want this evening. Do not be put off if your left shin is not parallel with the top edge of your mat. If your foot is pretty much attached to your groin, it's still pigeon. It's just the way that your hips are in your body. And then when you're ready, you decide how low you want to go. Take your time. If you'd like to have a brick under your forearms or maybe under your forehead. And so you're welcome to stay exactly as you are in this pigeon.
or you can begin to take the slight side tilt. You can walk your hands back. This is a big side for me. And you can start to walk your hands further over towards the right side of the mat or the room. Don't feel confined to the rectangular piece of rubber on the floor. And you can have the hands down or you can have your forearms down. Ease into this. When we go with caution, when we go with awareness and consciousness, intention, our actions are considered aware and full of intention. And as we move on the mat, that is how we want ourselves to move off the mat. That there isn't this disparity between you as a yoga practitioner and as a practitioner of life. They are the same thing. That we combine all of it together. We want to be free from anger and aggression. You wouldn't bring that on the mat. And take about 3 more breaths wherever you are. On this next exhale, walk your hands back into center. And take a moment. Take it all in. And then you can remove the brick from under your butt cheek, or you can start to roll over to your left hip a little bit more. Remove your bolster in whatever way. If it's removing the pillow is no point to it, then don't feel like you have to. And then we're going to come into our Shavasana. And I do encourage you with your Shavasana to lie your pillows or your bolster underneath your knees, underneath your legs. So we've been working a big time on the legs right now, so it'll be nice to have that little bit of height there. Lie yourself down. Hands can be on the body, arms can be by your sides. Take a big breath in through the nose and a long sigh out through your mouth. And I'll guide you out of your Shavasana eventually. Just enjoy this time. This time for your body to do the work, absorb what you've just done, take it in.
begin to rest your awareness in the flow of your breath. And rest your awareness in the whole of your body, just as it is. Start to move your fingers and move your toes. And then inhale, reach the arms up over your head. Take a full body stretch. From your fingers to your toes. Exhale, hug your knees into your chest. Wrap your arms around your shins. Either rock up and down or over to one side. And then eventually bring yourself into a comfortable seat. Somewhere in the middle of your mat for us to close our practice. Seated in Hakini Mudra. Find a tall seat. Bring your fingertips together. Bring them just in front of your heart or your diaphragm. Close your eyes. Holding this open space between your hands. How do we choose to fill this space? And together, close the palms together. Drop your chin down. Take a bow to your practice, to those that need this practice. I'm going to end this practice with a beautiful quote. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings be happy and free. Final breath in. Final breath out. Namaste. Thank you for joining me today. Let me know how you got on with it. Do this anytime that you need it. Or just sit on your mat and breathe. Thank you as always. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, your day, your week. Namaste.